Hello, and welcome to Functional Skills Maths. Today we're looking at a topic of area and perimeter of L shapes. I'm just going to share my screen. This is a level 1 topic and relates to the criteria point 22 of the level 1 syllabus. And by the end of the session, you should be able to calculate the perimeter of L shapes and the area of L shapes. So, firstly, what is perimeter? Perimeter is the distance around the edge of a shape. So here we have an L shape, and they're probably a bit more common than we might think for. Many rooms, for instance, are L-shaped in some small way or other. Or sometimes we might be measuring floor sections for either carpet to go around a sofa or a lino around a bath or something like that. So L shapes are this type of shape. Now the perimeter is just the distance all the way around. As with the rectangles, it's just a single distance that we're measuring. And all we do, again, as with rectangles, is just add up the lengths of all of the different sides. So if we put some numbers on here, it looks a bit complicated, but if we just read clockwise from the top, we'll just go 2 plus 5 plus 8 plus 2 plus 6 plus 3. We just add them all up, and that comes to 26 meters. And that's how we calculate the perimeter. So quite straightforward, really. So here's an L shape for you to try working out this. I would recommend starting at the top and going clockwise, just because it's easy to remember then where you started. But let me give you a few moments to work out the perimeter of this L shape here. You're welcome to press pause on the video, and we'll run through the answer together shortly. Okay, so hopefully you've had a chance to work it out by now, and you'd have realized that the perimeter is 38 meters. Well done. Now, sometimes we're not given all of the lengths on an L shape. In this example here, for instance, we can see that we've got a lot of the measurements, but one length, indicated by the question mark, is missing. So what do? How do we figure this out? Well, what we can do is we can use the two other lengths that are running in the same direction as the missing length to help us. So the question mark is sitting above a line that is running from left to right along the horizontal plane. So we need to look for the other two horizontal lines that also run from left to right. Can you spot them? It's those two there. It's the 8 meters along the bottom and the 2 meters at the top. They are both running along the horizontal plane, the left to right across your screen. So we need to use those two to work out the missing length. And what we do is we take the biggest one, the 8 meters, because that runs at the longest point of our L shape. It runs all the way from this point here, where my mouse is, to this point here at the end. And then we subtract the other length that we know is the 2 meters. So we're saying that this question mark is equivalent to the whole of the horizontal length minus those 2 meters there that we know about. So what we've got is 8 minus 2 leaves us with 6 meters, and that's our missing length. Once we've worked that out, we can now work out the perimeter in the same way as we did before by just adding up all of the different lengths. This principle applies equally to when the missing length is on a vertical line as well. So the ones that run from top to bottom, of your screen. What we'd do is use the same process. We'd find the biggest length, subtract the shorter length, and that would give us the missing length on the vertical lines. So here we have two L shapes. The first one has got a missing length along the horizontal plane, left to right, and the second one has got a missing length along the vertical plane, from top to bottom. So please use the methods described just now to try and work out what those missing lengths are, and then to work out what the total perimeter is for each of those shapes. I'll give you a few seconds whilst you can press pause on your videos. Please do that and take the time to see if you can work out what those lengths are, and then we'll run through the answers shortly. Okay. Okay, so hopefully you've had time now to press pause and to look through and work out what those missing lengths are. And so firstly, the first question mark on the horizontal plane here, we need to look at the other two lines, which is the 15 meters and the 2 meters. Subtract one from the other. So 15 minus 2 gives us the missing length of 13 meters. And then when we add them all up together, we find that the perimeter is 50 meters. So well done if you've got that. And if not, then please just press pause and see if you can compare your workings out now to what you can see as the answer on the screen. And then we come to the L shape on the bottom. We're asked to work out this question mark here, this length here. So we're now looking at the up and down lines, the top to bottom, the vertical planes. So we look at the other two that run in the same direction, which is the 6 is the whole length, 4 is the section that we know about. So this one over here is going to be 6 minus the 4, which gives us a missing length 2. And then we put that in as we go around adding up all the lengths to find that the perimeter is 28 meters. Okay, well done. Well done. That can take a little bit of a while sometimes to get your head around. So if it's not clear straight away, then please do spend a bit of time. Just press pause, just look back over these examples and see if you can just get to grips with them a little bit more. Or indeed, please ask your tutor for further work and support with these. They're really important to get right, as they do come up in the exams quite often. Well, once you've got that concept, we can now move on to looking at the concept of working out the area of an L shape, which is to do with how much space that it occupies and takes up. And again, one of my favorite analogies, I suppose, is thinking about how much carpet it might take to sort of carpet out an L-shaped room. So here we have an L shape with measurements on it. Well, if we were working out the perimeter, you know what to do. We just go around from clockwise and add up all the different lengths. That's great. But this time, we're not actually interested in that. What we want to do is work out how much area it takes, how much carpet would be required to fill this room. So how can we do that? Well, what we do is we need to visualize it as two rectangles. So if we put a dashed line across and cut it into two rectangles in the manner that you see on the screen, for instance, then what we can do is we can work out the area of the two rectangles separately and then add them together. So what I've done now here with the orange line is I've cut the L shape into two. The bottom rectangle is now a 8 meters by 2 meters rectangle. It says 8 meters long, it's 2 meters high. And if I work out the area of this, and that's going to give me the bottom half of the L shape. And then I've also got another rectangle on the top here, which is 2 meters wide by 3 meters high. So 3 times 2 is 6, and the 8 times 2 down the bottom is 16. Now that I've worked out both of those areas, I can add them together and find that the combined area is 22 meters squared. Again, remember the little square on the end because we're dealing with a 2D shape. We're dealing with area. So that's the approach when it comes to L shapes. Cut it into 2 smaller rectangles. Use the formula for working out the area of a rectangle for both of those shapes. Add the 2 amounts together, and then that will give you the total area for the L shape. Okay, so here are 2 L shapes, and I'm going to ask you to work out the area of both these L shapes, and you may need to want to work out the missing length first of all. So please take some time now, work out the missing length, and then see if you can work out the area as well. Okay, so hopefully you've had a good go at that now. And if you have, you'll see that the missing length on the first one is, again, it's across the horizontal plane. So we look at the other 2, we've got 3, we've got a 10. So the biggest one, subtract the smallest one, means that the missing length is 7 meters. And the area, if we divide this L shape into 2, is 38 meters squared. And we can do that if we were to take an imaginary line, run it somewhere across there. The bottom box would be 10 meters long by 2 meters high. So that's 20 meters in the bottom box. And this top box is 3 meters by 6 meters, which would give us 18 meters in the top box. So 18 meters plus the 20 meters from the bottom, and that's where we get the 38 meters squared from. And then when it comes to the bottom one here, the missing length is on the vertical plane. So top to bottom, we look at the 2 lengths running in the same direction, which is the 9 and the 6. And then we subtract the smaller one from the bigger one. So we end up with the vertical being 3 meters. And the area is 105 meters squared. So let's just see how we got there. Well, we could do it in a number of ways. But if we go across this way, for instance, the top box is then 10 meters across by 6 meters high. So that's 60 in the top box. And it's 15 meters long by 3 meters high, we now know. So that's 45 meters in the bottom box. And 60 plus 45 is 105 meters squared. Now, some of you might have done a divided line going down this way. And that's absolutely fine, because you'll still end up with the same answer. It's just that your calculations will be a little bit different. This box is now 10 meters long by 9 meters high, giving us 90 in this box. And this little box here, much smaller, 5 times 3 is 15 in there. So it doesn't matter which way you do the divided line. It's entirely up to you. As long as you put one in there, that will allow you to break the L shape down into 2 smaller rectangles. Okay, so well done. We've looked today at how to calculate the perimeter of L shapes and also how to work out the area of L shapes. So well done for sticking with me through this topic. And I hope that that's clear for you. If not, please revisit this, or feel free to contact your tutor and discuss a little bit further. And meanwhile, I wish you all the best with your future functional skills studies.